Welcome to Racheal Fosu TV. We have with us today none other than Lieutenant Jason Lawler. Thank you for being here with us.
It's my pleasure.
I am happy to see you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Jason Lawler. I'm a police officer for the Morris Township Police Department. I've been there for the last 25 years. I'm promoted to the rank of lieutenant. So my job has changed over the years from being a patrolman to a school resource officer to a sergeant to now a lieutenant. And now basically I'm the shift commander for each shift that I work for. So I have 6 officers underneath me with a sergeant as well.
Wow. Now, how did you happen to come to be a caregiver?
It's through my wife.
Yes,
Jennifer.
Jen. Right. Tell us about Jen. I know this is going to be hard, but I do believe you can help somebody.
Jen was my wife. She was my wife and was my life as well. We met a long time ago. When she first met me, she thought I was obnoxious, rude, and condescending. And if anybody knows me, that yes, those are some words that are good to describe me. But what happened one night, my best friend and I were living together, and at the time, and she had gone sleigh riding with a bunch of her friends, and we were in Morristown, and my apartment was in Morristown, and they stopped by to warm up after a nice winter afternoon of sleigh riding, and I made her a cup of hot chocolate, and that was when I won her over. So she convinced me to go out with them that night. I didn't really plan on going out that night, and I did, and things progressed, and she was everything. She made me love. I learned to forgive and move on and be the man that I am today because of her.
Wow. I had the pleasure of knowing Jen really, really well. A woman that I respect. It's even hard to say that she was at this point for me because it still hasn't fully sunken in. And oddly enough, Jason, Jen, and one of their son are characters in the book.
Yes.
Hold Me Till My River Jordan. You'll find out when you read it. I don't want to give that away. But we're close family friends, and this story is extremely special to me. So tell us what happened with Jen.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was January 23rd, 2015. My wife and I were lying in bed, and I had just recently was recovering from a hernia surgery, and I was on light duty. So my hours were changed a little bit. So I was getting ready to get up for work. I felt the dog, which I thought at the time was the dog. I thought the dog jumped off the bed and got back on the bed and started scratching. I reach over to, tell the dog to stop scratching, and I realized the dog wasn't there. And then with that, Jen woke me up and said she was having a seizure. And the seizure was to the left side of her body. And her being an emergency room nurse, very exceptional emergency room nurse, and me being a police officer and an EMT for many years, and no history of seizures for her, we realized something was not right. So we called 911, and it seemed like forever and a day for the paramedics and the police and the other first responders to get there. And at that time, she had stopped seizing, and she was coming back around. We got her down to the hospital in an emergency department where she worked, and it was unreal.
Yeah.
The doctor that she worked with side by side, patients, thousands of patients that she cared for, never in a million years that we ever thought that we would be the ones that would need the care.
Right.
So they brought her into a CAT scan, and they let me go back with the doctor and Jen, and all I remember is watching the doctor. Being a police officer for 25 years, we learned to read people.
Right.
And when I saw her starting going through the scans, I looked at the doctor, and you could see he lost all expression. He closed his eyes and sunk his head down, and we knew it wasn't good at that point.
Wow.
But they told us to be optimistic, and we'll go forward from there. They'll run some more tests, and as a result, they found that she had a glioblastoma on the right side of her brain, about the size of an orange. So the next couple of days were really, really, really rough. Watching her go from a fully functioning adult to the time of her surgery, where she was completely paralyzed on the left side. And then God blessed us with an angel. His name's Dr. Yarn Marshall, who recently came up from a different hospital, heavily recruited by Morristown, and he performed the surgery on her. And as he successfully removed the whole tumor, to him, it seemed like it was nothing. It seemed like it was a tie in our shoe. And I still remember, 4 hours. The surgery was start to finish in 4 hours, and it was pretty amazing. And then we went back to see her after her recovery when she was coming out of surgery, and she was able to function with the left side. And, we were still very optimistic, and we were told to keep an open mind. But looking at the tumor from the doctor's perspective, he knew it was a glioblastoma, so we knew it would be terminal for her. So from that point on, we cherished each day. We looked forward for each day. We were blessed for each day that we had. We didn't know how long we were going to have.
Right.
And, she put up with me for so long. A little brain tumor was not going to set her back.
Wow.
I didn't realize, the cancer probably didn't realize who she was messing with. And she was a very, very strong woman. And she fought long and hard for 4.5 years. And she bounced back each and every time. And we got a lot of opportunities to do a lot of things with our kids in that time. Some things that probably we wouldn't have done if things were normal. And so we were very blessed. I look at people, and it was to a point where I felt almost guilty for being, for how much help and outpouring that we got, support. As a police officer, you hear things about the thin blue line and the brotherhood for police officers, but what I saw was amazing from the people that she worked with, the staff, the doctors. People just came out of the woodwork, came and cooked meals, helped clean the house. Everything that you could think of that could be done was there, was done for us. So we were truly, truly, truly blessed. And like I said, to a point where it was, I felt bad at how much help that we got, and knowing that other people are probably struggling a lot worse than what we were going through. So
Jen was that type of person, though. The things she did in that hospital for people for end of life.
Absolutely. And I knew she was very great at her job, and I knew she was a very caring and thoughtful person. And compassionate, and a lot of stories that I didn't know came out after she passed. And looking back, it was pretty funny how she could basically put a doctor in his place if she thought the doctor was doing wrong by the patient, and then within 2 minutes ask the doctor and tell the doctor, "Oh, you're buying pizza for everybody." Somehow she would strong-arm them into getting food out of them, or ice cream, or something of that nature. So, and then I remember some of the things coming the night of her viewing. Actually, some of her patients came up to us and shared with us stories.
She touched thousands of lives.
She was a nurse for as long as I was a police officer. 20 plus years. It's
only right that other people served her at that point in time.
And that was probably one of the biggest hurdles for me was accepting the help.
Right.
Because these shoulders, I can carry the world. And like I said, it was it was always us. It was my job to always care for somebody else or to respond or someone, help them in the time of need.
Right.
And even going back, even before I was a police officer, I was on the first aid squad for a long time and just always there helping people and not. It was hard, difficult
to accept
the help.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because when you're in the trenches like that, doing that work and taking care of your loved one, you're not sure about how much you want to protect their privacy. You're not sure about how much you want to give out about your emotions and how you're feeling, and so sometimes you want to kind of put that wall up.
Yeah.
But
or just to be strong,
for them.
To be positive and going over some of the questions that you said to me. I sat long and hard over the last couple of days, and I thought that I had we all knew it was terminal,
right?
And the average lifespan for someone with hers diagnosis was anywhere between 18 to 24 months. And we got 4.5 years. She was a true 5.5% or 5% of the population, and and we were very fortunate where it wasn't so much where it was debilitating to the point where our children had to watch her go from a fully functioning adult to someone that needed to be cared for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was a very short period of time, and she didn't suffer.
Right.
And I thank God for that.
How has your faith grown through this process? I know about mine, but how about you?
We were always very faithful, and that was another thing that I grew up in the church, but we weren't very church-going people. We went on the major holidays, Christmas, Easter, a couple of times here and there. But she brought me into the church. The church welcomed me with open arms, and we moved from one church in Dover to the church in Morristown, and it was like a family. My faith is undeniably strong. And things do happen for a reason. We don't know what his plan is or what his reasoning is. And I've been blessed to have a strong faith, strong support for their church. And that's what found I worked for me.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you on that. 100%.
I do believe that there's a higher power, because he gave us an extra 2.5 years. Than the average. I look at it this way, that when she was lying on the operating table, they could have just done the scans and opened her up and said, "There's nothing we can do." Just she
could have been,
and then just sent her back home. So we had not an opportunity. We had time to prepare,
and moments to seize.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I every time I pray now, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, "Thank you, Lord, for the gift that is today." And I can fully relate, because we got to experience Dom for about 2.5 years, and so I know exactly what you're saying. And he got to teach my son how to ride a bike in that time. That's a memory that
will never be taken away.
Irreplaceable, and so I know exactly what you mean about treasuring that time and seeing it as a gift. And that's how I pray. Every prayer I start every day, I start it with that, because each day is really a gift, and we should treat it as such.
Absolutely. I'm thankful when people ask me how we're doing, how I'm doing. I go, I woke up today. That's a start. It's a blessing. After that, when you start to put things in perspective, what things used to be worried about and upset you. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter so much. The room's messy. House a mess. It's not a big deal.
Oh well. Yes, it's true.
And it is.
Yeah. No. You were admirable while caring for Jen, and that in and of itself is an experience that I'm sure you'll cherish forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yes, I will.
And that's when we see love as written in 1 Corinthians 13, truly in action, right? When you have to give everything of yourself, because you know that's what's required for the person you love. How did that affect you?
I feel that since she had gotten sick, we were brought closer together.
Yes.
Not that we took advantage of each other,
Right.
not that we took for granted. I mean, I guess
Right.
maybe it was taken for granted of,
Yes.
but our love grew stronger. And not that we average couple,
Right.
fights, stupid
Yeah.
things, little
Right.
things. But I'm definitely sure that I know for a fact that we fought a lot less
Yeah.
after she had gotten sick. And we loved longer,
Right.
stronger, and just longer.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so beautiful.